Multiple large storms are coming to the United States over the next several days as we are anticipating a round of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes anywhere from the Pacific Northwest back into the Great Plains and even along the East Coast between now all the way through Monday of next week. So in today's forecast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know about the weather that'll be impacting the United States over the next 7 to 10 days. We'll begin with what's happening across the country today, and things for now are on the quiet side of things. However, we do have some showers and thunderstorms that were actually ongoing in North Texas last night. Saw some really big hail back over near Dallas-Fort Worth, as large as the size of baseballs. That is all now winded down, and now we're watching for moisture that is coming out of the Pacific, and this is going to lead to some heavy rainfall over the next several days back over in southern and central Texas and also into southern Louisiana, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. And believe it or not, there is a risk for severe weather today back over in the Pacific Northwest, which is a very rare event for that area, especially in March. We have a bunch of severe weather ahead between now all the way through Monday, and it all begins today. And believe it or not, in the Pacific Northwest, we actually have a slight risk for severe weather. The reason why this is rare is because we have a lot of instability and a lot more moisture than we usually ever have in these areas that is going to lead to the potential for significant severe weather. And for the first time in Storm Prediction Center history, we have a hatched risk for very large hail. That means that there's a chance for hail over the size of 2 inches in diameter in parts of Washington and Oregon, basically from Seattle all the way back through Western Oregon. So very impressive thing here. We've never had this before, believe it or not, which is actually kind of crazy to think. In addition to that, there is a low-end chance for an isolated tornado or two this afternoon into the early evening. So make sure that you're staying weather aware. There is a very low chance that we go live for this later today. We'll be keeping a close eye on it if it actually does become a big concern. Now, as we go into Thursday, things are going to shift right back to Tornado Alley, where we do have a marginal risk of severe weather in the Midwest, and then a slight risk all the way back down in South Texas, where our main concerns will be damaging winds and hail. There's a very low-end chance for a tornado back over in South Texas. By Friday, we're talking more about a risk of severe weather back over in Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana, with more isolated damaging winds, hail, and maybe a tornado possible during the afternoon. And another small marginal threat, this one back up in Nebraska. You don't see that very often in mid to late March, but there is a little risk up there, so stay weather aware. Now, things get a lot more concerning by the weekend. On Saturday, we're not really expecting much to happen. There is going to be a cap in place, which means storms are going to be prevented from developing. However, on Sunday, we are talking about the potential for a severe weather outbreak that is stretching from the Ohio Valley back into the southern plains, where we anticipate damaging winds, which could be significant at times, large to very large hail, and tornadoes all being a possibility. Now, it's hard to narrow down exactly who's going to be seeing the most significant threat for severe weather, since we are still several days out. However, I do think that this will be the main corridor right along the Mississippi River Valley for significant severe weather, but that could definitely change depending on the evolution of this trough, in addition to some other key ingredients like where the greatest moisture and instability is available. Those are all going to matter as we get much closer, but it looks like a very favorable environment on Sunday for a severe weather outbreak, which we'll talk more about here in just a second. And then as we go into Monday, the risk of severe weather shifts to the east and southeast, where we have a huge slight risk that stretches from Delaware back into Louisiana, where more damaging winds, hail, and even a few tornadoes will be a possibility. Over the next several days, we have a lot of big storms that are coming, including the one back over in the Pacific Northwest, which is happening today, where we have a really good feed here of moisture back into Oregon and Washington, which is going to create a favorable environment for severe storms. And we'll go through the future radar here in just a moment, but an impressive setup when it comes to our trough that is just offshore. As we go into Thursday, we do have a trough that is undercutting our high pressure system that's over the Rockies. This is essentially our mega block weather pattern, but there is a small trough down here in Mexico that is going to intensify and bring a bunch of rain to areas like Texas and Louisiana, in addition to severe storms. And this is definitely a concern. It's not really that large scale of an event, but it is going to actually lead us into the big event that's going to be happening on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Eventually by Saturday and Sunday, we have a trough that'll be moving over the Rockies, a little shortwave trough here, and this is what we're going to be seeing a lot in April. These little shortwave troughs in the jet stream that are going to lead to severe weather events. In particular, this one's going to stay relatively weak all the way through Saturday. So I still think Saturday is a day that's not going to be very concerning when it comes to severe storms. But on Sunday and Monday, it really starts to organize, and we really start to see a much more impressive low pressure system develop back over in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Eventually, by the middle and end of next week, things become a lot more uncertain. So essentially the first week of April. However, we are expecting a lot more of these shortwave troughs to kick into gear here, and we are likely going to see a lot more big severe weather events as we go into April. And a concerning trend that has been happening over the last 24 hours is that a lot of computer models have been shifting our fuel, which is instability, further to the west for Sunday's potential severe weather outbreak, which is a concern because we actually could see severe weather start much further back to the west than we initially forecasted, all the way back over in Oklahoma and Texas. And keep in mind, there is a lot of instability, a lot of wind shear, and there is also a lot of moisture. And with all of that combined, this is a very favorable environment for severe storms, and it's definitely a concerning trend, especially with how large our area of instability is. This is a huge area that we are talking about on Sunday for the risk of severe storms, which makes this that much more concerning. Now, this might not be a high or even moderate risk day, according to the Storm Prediction Center as we get closer, but nonetheless, this is a large area of severe storms, and we are likely at least going to see scattered, if not numerous, severe weather across the Ohio Valley back into the Gulf Coast. A very active period of severe weather is ahead, beginning with today. We got showers and thunderstorms expected in Washington, Oregon, and California. We'll have a more detailed timing breakdown in just a couple of minutes. As we go into tomorrow, we're going to start to see a lot more rain back over in Texas, and this is going to lead to even some localized flooding if you're back over in South Texas. There is actually a moderate risk for excessive rainfall in place just off to the west of Houston. As we go into Thursday evening, showers and thunderstorms continue in the southern plains. By Friday, there will be some showers and snow showers back over in the Midwest with a low pressure system that will begin to intensify by Friday evening. By the way, this right here is the low pressure system that is expected to bring significant severe weather on Sunday and Monday. So that's definitely something to keep a very close eye on. Even though it's in the Central Plains on Friday, it's not necessarily going to really bring us much until really Sunday. Rain continues back along the Gulf Coast and back over in the Pacific Northwest, where we still have a strong atmospheric river event that will continue to dump plenty of rainfall up there. By Saturday morning, showers and storms continue in the Mississippi River Valley. Rain is stretching from the Central Plains and even some snow and ice back over to the Northeast. We are talking about the potential for an ice storm back over in parts of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. By Saturday afternoon and evening, that shower and thunderstorm activity continues in the Southeast. The good news is that this is not really in a favorable environment for significant severe weather, but there could still be some isolated severe storms in Alabama and Mississippi. On Sunday, that's where things start to get a lot more concerning. So Saturday night, there will be a low pressure system back over in the Midwest. Wouldn't actually rule out some isolated severe weather around or just after midnight, stretching from Illinois to Oklahoma. Large hail, damaging winds, and a low tornado risk would be in play if that ends up happening. By Sunday, we are talking about showers and thunderstorms firing up right around the early to mid-afternoon hours, stretching from Texas into the Ohio Valley. I think the further north you go, we're talking more about a very large hail risk rather than a tornado risk and wind threat, but there will still be a chance for both of those. I just think our main primary concern would be hail further north into the Ohio Valley. Our more significant tornado risk, if it does evolve, would likely end up happening right near the Mississippi River Valley. Keep in mind that this will probably change as we get a little bit closer, since things are definitely going to change as we are 5 days out, but nonetheless, definitely an area to watch for during the late afternoon on Sunday. And then by Sunday night, we will more than likely have a line of thunderstorms that rolls across the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley with damaging winds and embedded tornadoes, with storms continuing even back over into Arkansas. And then by Monday morning, severe weather continues into the southeast with mainly damaging winds and hail. There will be a low-end tornado risk, and that'll be primarily during the morning hours, but it will continue into the afternoon, anywhere from Maryland back into Florida. So all in all, we are anticipating a very active stretch of severe storms. Sunday looks like it'll be the most concerning day for severe weather, with damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes all in play. And I do think that we have the potential for a significant severe weather outbreak on Sunday if model trends continue in the direction that they're going. Some model discrepancies still exist, which is why we don't yet have an enhanced risk of severe weather in place, but that definitely could be added here in a very future outlook if the model trends continue to get worse. And then by the middle and end of next week, this is very long term, but I do expect a lot more big storm systems that'll produce even more significant severe weather in the first couple of weeks of April. So buckle up. It is going to be a very active next few weeks across the United States, and we will almost undoubtedly be live on Sunday and Monday, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest updates. And if you're over in the Pacific Northwest, we have a rare significant severe weather event ahead today with a few storms that'll be producing very large hail and an isolated tornado risk. By around 3 o'clock Pacific time, there will be some storms firing up back near Portland, Oregon, with mainly a large hail threat initially and also a tornado or two being possible. By 5 to 6, those storms are going to be approaching Seattle, Washington, with mainly a wind threat by this point, but maybe still a tornado or two embedded in this cluster of thunderstorms. And then by just after sunset, these storms are approaching the Canadian border, where generally speaking, this is going to be much more disorganized, and it's mostly just going to be rain by this point, with a few rumbles of thunder and perhaps some gusty winds. And our temperatures are taking a wild swing. Record-breaking warmth continues from the Great Plains back to the West Coast, but that will change by the weekend, as we are going to have some cold air reinforcement out of Canada, which will lead to the return of below average temperatures. But before that happens, really warm weather is going to stretch into the Northeast even on Monday, which could lead to some severe storms as far north as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. By Tuesday and Wednesday, that cold air moves into areas like the Northeast and the upper Midwest, and then after this, things start to become a lot less certain. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below, and also click the bell icon so you're notified with our latest video updates and live streams, as we will probably have daily video updates from here on out. I don't really see that ending anytime soon, in addition to our live streams, where we're probably going to be live on Sunday and more than likely on Monday as well. So make sure that you have the bell icon clicked so you're notified if and when we do go live. And also feel free to share this video, get the word out there. We got a large storm that is coming here over the next several days. It'll definitely impact millions of people from the Ohio Valley all the way back to the Gulf Coast. And don't forget, our 1 million subscriber merch goes away in 5 days. So if you want to get anything like signed hats, t-shirts, mugs, or much more, you can check this out at shopmaxvelocity.net or the top link in the description below.